is up, peeps? How is everybody doing here? Good to see y'all. Everybody back. A lot of people already in chat, which is awesome. Big night on YouTube if you follow the Delphi case. A lot of creators will be going live. I'm sure everyone knows by now. If you don't, or you're just you're a casual viewer or watcher, the Delphi trial starts tomorrow with opening arguments. I don't know if there'll be anything ahead of opening arguments, if there's any rulings or issues or anything like that, or if those will be sent out tonight. I know that they could file, but maybe they can't put them on until first thing in the morning. So I believe that there's still the third party thing is still iffy. They're going to make this proffer or offer of proof. I shouldn't say proffer, offer of proof. But there's a lot of other creators that are more versed in that. Frank and Kristen will be talking about that tonight at 9 Eastern, my time. Check them out. But just about everyone that follows Delphi, that creates content about Delphi, will have a show tonight, or already had one today. And it feels. I was thinking about this. I was going to write down how I felt and then to see how you all felt. But it's a weird feeling. There's a feeling of excitement. And I think that's a natural human emotion. You know what I mean? People, you get excited about a trial, about a murder trial. No, wish this trial wasn't happening. Wish we weren't covering it, but it did happen. And we do cover it. And we've met each other publicly, personally, online, all that stuff. So it's you have like a family here now. Hopefully more people went to the walk this time. They met more people. I couldn't make it this time, but things like that, that's great. Depending on what people have in life. Some people have 150 friends. Some people have 2 friends, right? Some people have 10 good friends. Whatever it is, it's good. That human interaction is good. This interaction is good. Now there's bad things that come along when people attack each other, this and that. Anywhere people congregate, that's going to happen. Whether it's online or in a bus station. The only place I don't see people mad is the marijuana dispensary. I mean it. There could be 150 people in there and you got like, fuck it. And you just start bullshitting about the Steelers or something like that. But anywhere you congregate, there's going to be people that don't like each other and go after each other. So that's part of human nature. It's part of life. But we're finally here. Part of me still says, and I said this, something's going to happen before they get in there, or right when they get in there, and there's going to be something to delay this or a change of plea. So I guess when it starts rolling out and starts really going, and we get those first updates after the first break, whatever time that usually is, 10:30 or so. Wow, this is happening, and the opening arguments are tomorrow, and we're not going to be able to see them live. So you have to take everybody's word for it. The people that you follow that are going to the hearing or to the trial, I'm sure people will have some different interpretations of certain things, but hopefully everyone comes out of that courtroom and gives us, the straight skinny, whether they think Alan's guilty or innocent. No TV cameras, which sucks. I wish there was too, but I can understand where Judge Gall comes from with this case, and as toxic as it's gotten, maybe it's best for it. I don't know. We'll be able to get transcripts after the case is over, after the fact, but every update, every lunch break, there's going to be people running to their computer, running to Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. I love Frank Turbo, Deb's True Crime Notebook. She puts everything together and kind of reads it for you. Really, the people that I follow and I go to, but whoever you follow and who you go to for information, tomorrow's a giant day in this case. It's the biggest day in this case since the first day of this case, was when these 2 murders happened. That I think this is bigger than the arrest even. And I know people, I went back and forth with people. No, that arrest day was bigger, but we're finally here. We didn't know when that arrest day happened that we'd be waiting 2 more years. That's what it was, right? 2022. Yeah, I think that's what it was. 2 more years for this to actually to have people in seats, have a jury and everything like that. So we'll see what happens. But I only have 1 or 2 things to show you, but I just wanted to talk about what do you expect in trial? What do you think's coming up? And I just have a show on the eve of trial. I talked to Frank today, and I said, I got to do something. I can't do anything tomorrow or Saturday, probably not Sunday. So I just wanted to see everybody touch base, see what everybody's thinking. Maybe someone mentioned something here in chat that I missed and I didn't think of. So we'll say hello to everybody. What's up, Big Fish? JJ, Gail Hurd, Frank Meister. Frank Meister, again, will be on with Kristen tonight at 9 East. 63. Jill Moser. Hope you're feeling better, Jill. I'm feeling a lot better to be able to sit up for an hour here. I have a pillow against me, but I sneezed Saturday night. I was getting water out of the fridge and I was bent over and it felt like there was an explosion in my back, like mid back on the right hand side. Dropped me to the floor. I was on the floor for about 20 minutes and I was really contemplating, should I call 911 or not? It'd be embarrassing, but like, again, it's not my fault that this fucking happened. But so I ended up waiting and like I finally went Sunday afternoon, right before the Steeler game started, actually. Brooke made me go down and I thought I broke a rib or something. I wasn't bleeding from the mouth or anything like that. But they said it was like a strained, torn muscle, but more leaning to the strain. She's like, listen, you're going to start getting better. We're not going to send you for MRI. So I had a CT scan and I had a regular X-ray to make sure I didn't blow any ribs out. And she said it's more common than you think. My back's on a weakened state from, I have disc issues in the lower back, spinal stenosis. I have arthritis in my neck. I have as I call them, the trumps in my neck, bone spurs. But we don't want to hear talk about my my former war injuries. But it's good. I'm getting better. That's the main thing. So thanks everyone that said stuff. Hey, I hope you're feeling better and all that. That's cool. I hate when people feel sorry for me, but I do appreciate when reaching out. What's up, SP? Oh, I'm going to put the link in the chat here if anyone wants to come up and talk. And again, I'm going to stay to my usual about an hour till about 7. Hopefully that everybody. Not let me in there. Okay, here we go. Hopefully everyone, depending on work schedules, are you able to watch tomorrow or listen? And you got to remember too, we're not going to have like no one's going to have a feed from the courtroom or nothing like that because it's not televised. So we're going to have to wait till people come out on break. When they come out on break, they'll be getting information out. And that does tend to lead to some bad information. People are rushed out and they want to be the first ones to say this or the first ones to say that. Maybe they didn't hear right, or maybe they should have checked with someone else or something first. But I appreciate everybody that's going for sure. What is up, Gibbo? Nana? Good to see you, Miranda. Mr. Reasonable. Most times, but Charlotte, how are you doing? Good to see you. So I'm going to give you a couple things that I think is interesting, and I began research and stuff. What is up, Olivia? The music is by, I have to look. It's so you go on YouTube and you look up copyrighted music or non-trademark music or however you want to put it. And it'll give you a bunch of videos and you can look at hip hop, 90s, rock, whatever you want. And it'll bring you stuff up. And then when you upload your video, you don't make it public, you do unlisted, and it'll tell you if there's any issues with it. Some people will let you share if you are monetized, some people let you share that monetization. Some people won't let you have it on at all. So that's why you see a lot of creators don't have I'd have a Wu-Tang song for my intro, I'm sure. But I'll try to do my best to find out. I took a picture of it at one time, but if you go into there's quite a bit of stuff. So if anyone's a creator or plans on being a creator, that's one of the things that I found out on my own. Miranda, hope all is well with you. Shane, good to see you, brother. See through, good to see you. So there's just a couple quick things that I want to show you, and some of them are about hair. We have to talk about the hair. That's a legitimate big deal, right? Maybe it's not a big deal in the long run, but hearing that for the first time, I was like, whoa, really? So that was odd to me. I wasn't shocked that it wasn't, we heard we had DNA, but wasn't Richard Allen's and this and that. And, the state's not going to put out what they have because they can't. The defense technically can't either, but there's loopholes. Hi, Luis. Lone Pony, good to see you. Big Fish, I think I let it off with you saying hi, I believe. You like the statue. Is that a Statue of Liberty? I can't see what that is, but you use that. Or is that a snail? A snail or a Statue of Liberty, huh? Well, now, when I look at the Bridge Guy picture and tell you that I can't see Richard Allen, you understand I can't see if that's a snail or a Statue of Liberty. So don't hold me to that. And I still can't tell that. I still can't. I can't tell from the voice definitively either. I just can't. I don't think it's Ron Logan. And speaking of, because I think Ron Logan's taller, and I think you could kind of tell that, but city folk parking in your driveway. Oh, I bet they are, Ron. There's probably going to be more. If you see a guy with real cool sunglasses and golden blonde hair, his name's Aspen and he's cool. Cryptex, good to see you. Nana. From what I understand, the prosecution, and I think that's a standard thing, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Frank or someone else could know that's a little more law doggish than I am to be able to tell you that. Doing the evening stuff. Thank you, Audrey Abbott. But I'm glad that you spending some time with me today on this. This is a big night for true crime. It's a big night. I'm just not. When I say I'm excited, I'm not excited for a double murder trial. No, I'm not involved in it, but I'm excited to see it to fruition. I'm excited to see the families finally get answers, whether they want them or not. Maybe there's some answers they don't want to know, but they'll walk out of this trial if all goes well. Whether Richard Allen's adjudicated guilty or not, they'll know what happened to their kids. Maybe if he's not the guy, but they're going to say this is what happened and this is what caused this is what caused that. And people have invested, 7 years in this case. I came in at the end of 2021. So I haven't been on it like all that. Hey, there's Mears. Good to see you. 2 to 3 years from arrest is common. I guess for big cases like this, I would say SP that maybe like a normal, someone stole a car case isn't going to last that. But if you want to talk murder cases, yeah, children's murder cases even more so. So yeah, you're probably right. We're probably right on that, the average, whatever that would be. I'm not exactly sure what that would be. Well, I hope so, Frank. Oh, got my Market District tea today. It's a local place called Giant Eagle. Peach oolong. I do like my tea. Yeah, Frank's the guy that, Frank, I hope you don't get mad at me for saying this, but Frank's the guy that needs to get up there. And if there's anyone that could help, him, he doesn't want me to do this. And he's probably going to be pissed at me for doing this. And I apologize to you ahead of time, Frank, but it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. When you see Frank and his Cash App, I plan on doing something for him tonight. I was going to send it to him and surprise him, but fucking no surprise now, huh, Frank, to help him get up there because he's a guy that's been there through all these hearings. And the amount that it would cost him to stay up there is staggering. I couldn't afford to do it. Even if I didn't work, if I was off work, I couldn't afford to do that. And hotels, they know what's going on. They're jacking prices up. Why else are all these people running to Indiana at this time of year? Maybe the leaves change. I don't know if that's a good place to look at them, but they're doing that. So it's business. It's how it works. You know what I mean? But I'm personally going to send him something, and hopefully he can get up there because he's been our guy since freaking every hearing, man. He's been at every hearing, and Frank's my buddy, and that's me personally. If any of you decide to do that, that's great for you. If you can't, you can't. Send well wishes, but I appreciate everyone that covers this case. I appreciate the Bob Matas that go there. We don't agree on the theory of this case or what happened, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the people that go, regardless of what side they're on or what narrative they're pushing, or if they're just there to see justice. There was an interesting thing with the murder sheet. I'm sure Frank's going to comment on that later on Kristen's live. If he wants to put it in here, he can, but I don't know the details of it, but it's fucking another wild thing. What's wrong for us? Apple Fireball. Oh, Ron. Ugh. I don't like cinnamon. I don't like cinnamon flavor. I have guys at work, big, strong, burly bull firemen. They take shots of that consistently. There's a couple guys. Well, okay, let's get into it here. Said hi. I think I said hi to everyone. I hope I got everybody. Miranda Lee, I hope you're doing better. Jill, I hope you're doing better. Hey, Jamie Hicks. Good to see you, Jamie. So you've been all over the place with this. Before I show you a couple of things, we've been all over the place since this whole thing started, right? I know that I've had people that I thought early on did it. I moved to 2 or 3 different people. I never heard of Richard Allen or knew Richard Allen before the arrest was made, which makes the case all that more shocking, right? If they finally make arrest in the John Benet Ramsey or Madeline McCann, it's going to be somebody we've heard of. It's not going to be someone we haven't heard of. So that makes it all the more kind of crazy than all the stuff that happens peripherally to this case. And like I told you, in the mafia thing, Joey Merlino is like threatening to have people whacked. It goes everywhere, but this has gotten people are so invested in this case. And are they invested in this case because they want justice, or are they invested in this case because they don't want to be wrong? I think it's a combination of both. And I mentioned no comment to someone. I didn't think this was going to make trial. I'll be eating crow and that as soon as they have opening arguments tomorrow. And I'll come here and do it, man, because I'm no expert on this. I give you what I think. I give you what I know, and I give you what I'm into. And hopefully from there, you guys can take it either way. You like it, you don't like it. Maybe it makes you think. I love when you guys make me think. It's one of the funnest parts of doing this. And I keep a pen and pad handy because people do bring things up that I never thought about before. But let's talk about the hair first of all. So that was the big thing yesterday. The hair, the defense attorney said he was clutching a hair. And as best I can tell, the defense or the prosecution said nothing in response to that. They let it go. So what does that mean? Certainly the prosecution, if there's a hair or hairs, knew that there was a hair in Abby's hand, right? What kind of hair? How many hairs? That just that there's a hair doesn't really tell us anything other than that there's something there. So is there hair that was ripped out of somewhere? You know, maybe the attacker, she ripped hair out. Was it something that came from the sweatshirt? Is the hair, do they know whose hair it is? They just said it wasn't Richard Allen's. Could be Becky's, could be Kelsey's, could be anyone that wore that sweatshirt, anyone that rode in that car. That's a very easily transferred. The same with DNA. Is that what they're talking about? I wasn't in the courtroom, but my observation and understanding of it is that it's going to be a human hair. We know we talked about the cat Ozzy before and things like that, and those rumors came up. And I'll be honest with you, that's a pretty odd rumor to come up, right? Usually there's some kind of, there's that hook to hang the rumor on we talked about before. But in this case, there's been all kind of crazy stuff. So who really knows? But what I want to show you is just a couple of things. And I put this in my porch video yesterday. And just general knowledge about DNA and hairs, because I started researching it yesterday. I was kind of doing traction on my floor. And I said, well, hey, I'll learn a little bit about this while I'm kind of going through this. So I have a couple of screenshots here. And I put this in my video yesterday. And of course, I think I have them in the absolute opposite way that I wanted them. Imagine that. Even worse. Okay, so can you get DNA from hair? Is DNA always available in a hair sample? The hair fiber has, you're going to have to help me with this one, someone. Keratinites, a type of skin cells responsible for keratin synthesis. Easy for me to say. They naturally die and undergo a process of cornification, the conversion of cells to tough materials like hair. So basically, you get these cells, and it's almost like a reverse butterfly effect. They go from like a soft thing into like a cocoon, if that even makes sense. That's the very little that I know about it. But now we're going to talk about the mitochondrial DNA and nuclear DNA, okay? And this is just what they tell you to do. First thing you do is make sure you have a solid hair sample. If you have ripped or plucked from a scalp, then you can immediately send the hair to a DNA hair testing facility. A minimum of 5 hairs is required. That's on average. I read things today that said you need like 25 to have a really good sample, but this is just a general thing. This is if you're taking it. And again, if it's a hair sample DNA, you're going to see that a lot of times in a paper bag as opposed to plastic, so it doesn't degrade it more. So we're talking about mitochondrial DNA. Mitochondrial DNA cannot differentiate individuals as people share common maternal bloodline. Make this a little bit bigger. So if two persons of the same maternal line, you could not distinguish one from the other, is responsible for a particular crime. So this explains why forensics prefers to use nuclear DNA over mitochondrial DNA. So what's the difference between mitochondrial and nuclear? Well, from what I could tell, and this could be an easier way to say it, but basically nuclear DNA is kind of like almost like underneath the skin a little bit. And the mitochondrial DNA is stuff that's going to be maybe on the outside of you. So it doesn't have that all that DNA on it like the stuff does where it grows from. So basically the further out it grows, the less DNA capability it has for investigations. Usually in a crime scene, the hair sample does not have the roots attached to it, which sounds like that's the case here, but I don't know for sure. What the testing personnel does is perform extensive and thorough DNA analysis to check for DNA despite the very low chances of success. So if this hair, as this says right here, hair does not have roots attached to it. So if this hair doesn't have a root attached to it, it might be very hard to get any kind of DNA off it. Okay. Now, of course, there's the touching the DNA and stuff like that. Could that have hair? Yeah, you could look at it that route too. But if you're just purely looking at the hair, and then this talks about cornification. During cornification, the cell nucleus gets destroyed and degraded, including the genetic materials closed within. Therefore, the part of the hair that protrudes out of the scalp, the hair shaft, does not have nuclear DNA. So if that makes sense to you, the further away it gets from where it's produced or made is kind of what you're looking at. So you want to get it in as close as you can. Okay. Let's pop back over here real quick. But I just found it very interesting. Like regardless of who you think, did it step back from this? How does this work? It's really wild. Let me show you one other thing that I find interesting because, I'm into the profile and stuff, right? Let me get back here. And then we're talking about jury selection and what are things that they look for here. I have this whole article. I could share it on my community page or send it to anybody if they want it. But just talking about how, as I said before, attorneys are profilers, right? Attorneys are profilers. Let's make sure we got the right tab up here. And these are some of the things that they look and they talk about. And I just find it extremely interesting. I'm just going to show you one thing. And it's, I never knew this, of course. So hopefully it's something that you'll learn too. This is from Mental Floss, the website. They just list what they're looking for, or what they're looking at and into and watching you as you ask questions. They look at, as the charges are read, they'll look at the jury. But we want number 7 because number 7 is very, very interesting. And again, I'm into the profiling thing. And I think this is outrageous in a good way. While clothing alone usually isn't enough to get you dismissed, lawyers can make superficial judgments about your character based on your wardrobe. This even includes your shoes. According to the Synchronics Group trial consultants, I'm on a roll with fucking pronouncing words today. A nurturing, open, receptive, and generous person will likely wear casual shoes. Think about this. Nurturing, open, receptive, and generous person will likely wear casual shoes with plenty of room for their toes because these people don't want to be hemmed in. No pointy tips. The heels will be low because open people will want to be able to move around easily. No stiletto sandals. No stilettos. That's a weird sentence, huh? 2-word sentence. They should have put comma before. Sandals, sports, and walking shoes are more likely to fit a person's style than compact, tight dress shoes. On the contrary, the Synchronics Group says uptight and cautious jurors will wear more formal and well-maintained shoes. Generally, if you want to make a jury, says 4R, then dress conservatively and in a non-flashy manner. So how about that? That's pretty interesting. And these are the articles here written by law dogs. We gets into your hair. Beards, mustaches will be natural looking other than designed and sculpted. The old adage says you can't judge a book by its cover, but the attorneys will certainly try to. You got the nonverbal behavior, which we talk about a little bit on here. People with their arms crossed, they're defending themselves. People that stand with their arms crossed. Women cross their hands like this, standing up. Men cross their hands kind of like this. They're actually defending their reproductive system in a primal way. I don't even know that they're doing it. Right, facial reactions. Lawyers will observe jurors' faces for telling reactions while the judge reads the charges aloud. Nonverbal behavior is only one clue as to how somebody might, but they get it though, so they're profiling. They are profiling. Ozempic. Not for me. So I just think that all that shit's so interesting to me. So what do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about the it was 8 women and 4 men, and women dominating the jury? You think that's good for Alan, bad for Alan? I just think all that stuff's really interesting to me. All right. Yeah, again, Frank's probably mad at me, but love to get him up there if there's any way, shape, or form that we could. I don't know his Cash App, or I'd put it up. Sorry, Frank, if you're mad, but we need to have you there. Hey, Kit Kat, good to see you. So, what are we thinking about any of the things that I put up there? The hairs, it's a snail. Thank you. Thank you, big fish. So that's why I can't. When I tell you I can't tell who the bridge guy is, I can't by looking at it. I can't. I can't. I do think Ron Logan. I do think Richard Allen's guilty, but it's not because my eyes on the bridge video. A slug. Well, a slug or a snail is not Statue of Liberty. Uh-oh, look at this, Ron Logan. He knows Aspen. He owns most of the land around here. So our buddy Aspen, we never knew he's a land baron in Carroll County, Indiana. Wow. Maybe he could just let a bunch of us camp out. Westfall called Frank. Yeah. Frank's been talking to him, and he, I won't, steal any of Frank's thunder, but he's an upset guy. Again, socially, we might not agree on anything socially, but that guy went and fought for this country, and if he wants to come back and believe what he wants to believe, as long as he's not hurting anybody or intimidating anybody with it, I mean, so now is not the time for cockiness. There's always a little bit of cockiness is always okay. Frankie Christian, hope to God they have more. It was with the PCA. Still eager to see his web searches. Yeah. I was thinking about that today too. Web searches, things like that. Even though he was an older guy, he seemed pretty apt computer wise. I mean, he probably had to do a lot of computer type work at his job too. But we should get in an opening argument, from what I understand, you should get. So I'm going to do a painting for you. But before I do this painting, I'm going to draw a sketch of the painting to give you an idea what I'm going to do. But it's not the finished product yet. The fine strokes will come up here at the end, and both sides will put that out. McClellan, I assume McClellan will get up and do the opening argument, and he'll say Richard Allen's guilty because of blah, 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 blah. We're going to show you blah, 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 blah. And then I'm assuming Andrew Baldwin gets up. I'd be surprised if Rozzy gets up. Andrew Baldwin's a little more, excuse me, had a hamburger for dinner, Coach Kev Burger. He's working the floor. He's standing behind Richard Allen. Oh, Richard can't be guilty. And Richard smiles. And that's all. That's set up. That's just not Andy Baldwin being a goofball. That's my guess that he's going to do it. And then he's going to get up and say, Richard Allen could not have done this crime because of blah, 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 blah. And then that's going to open the case. And then, listen, opening arguments might take up the whole freaking day tomorrow. I don't know. I've seen them before. I was looking around today, like longest opening arguments or whatever. And there's recesses. Some of them, I guess, had recesses in the opening arguments. They've been so long, but I don't know how that's going to play out. And any of you that go, you're going to watch, you're going to watch the attorneys, you're going to watch the judge. The judge's face doesn't really matter in this case. She's going to ruled at this point now as we move out. Watch the jurors' faces. If you have an angle on Allen, watch his face. You don't want to really stare at any family members, Allen's or the girls, to see them going through anything. I mean, I wouldn't want to, but case-related stuff, I'd want to know, like, if I sit in that courtroom and look at that jury, who's the foreman of this jury? And I'm going to be able to tell by the time we leave the morning session who the foreman of this jury is. I think that I could, but I don't know. I mean, there might be a way. Are they looking at the other jurors? Are they checking on him? Oh, God damn it, Harry's sleeping again. Kyle, kick fucking Harry. Melissa, quit putting your makeup on or whatever. Are they going to have like a dad type or a mom type, which is more than likely because there's more women. But I find it all so astonishing and so interesting. But I think tomorrow we should have a good idea what the state has. I think we do. So if tomorrow comes and we just go over, we kind of rehash what we had. If there's anything else, it's great. You got to play those confessions in court. They have to get played. And I don't know if you could pick and choose. I don't know if you could say, if you're the state, hey, we want to play these 40 detailed confessions. We don't want to play the other 21 where he said he did this, and that, and all these other things. So that's all going to be interesting. Play them all. So if you open seats, roughly 17, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and like 63, like I said, they know what's going on. It's like the Super Bowl comes to town or something. Oh man, there's a huge case. This room last week was probably $50. Now it's 120. I don't know. He talked about that today too. I got a hooch set up back yonder. Oh, there you go, Frank. If you're interested, you could have some hooch with Ron Logan and hang out behind the barn there. Yeah, like and share. Have good thoughts for them. Yeah, Frank's has tried, and it's just going to be tough. I don't like cinnamon at all, Louise. Not at all. Not on anything. Not a fan of the smell of it either. My girlfriend has them things that melting wax. They look like now and laters, and then they melt. Oh wow, yeah. Frank has Blade too, so he has to bring a dog too. I mean, it's one thing to leave his dog home for a couple hours, but that's okay, JJ. I mean, what you missed was a lot of speculative theories. A lot of people did some good work. They came up with some good theories, and some of them just fell through. There's to me, there's been kind of like when I came on, and it was only probably about a year before Richard Allen got arrested. And that was like a different time in Delphi. Then Richard Allen got arrested, and it became another different time in Delphi. And I just wonder, once this trial starts, it's going to be like the third and final phase. Like we were in different phases, right? There were some weird things going on, but early on, it didn't seem like the people were at each other's throats as much, right? You had a couple creators that maybe didn't like each other, but they didn't always go on and bash each other. Once Allen got arrested, then there was like a flag in the sand, and some people were over here and some people were over here. So I just wonder now how this is going to transform into the next phase of this, the trial phase. Wonder if it'll change at all. There you go. You got a couch. Yeah. I see that. It was hard for me to grasp that. And again, I wasn't there. I couldn't see Nick's reaction when he said this hair. If Nick kind of like rolled his eyes, or something like that, dude, we know that that's Kelsey's hair. We know that that's Becky's hair or whoever's, you know what I mean? And I hope when we find that out, and if that's the case, people don't freak out. Oh my God, their hair was at the scene. How did their hair get on the scene? Well, because he was her sweatshirt or was it in her car? Like some of these things are very easily explained. If there's a stranger's DNA, someone's found in a house and there's DNA on the body. There's, we rule out the kids, rule out this one and that one. If there's DNA that they can't identify, then they put that DNA in a system and still can't identify it. Then, wow, it's like maybe someone never committed a crime before. And that was like the Kim Riley thing early on, right? That's what I think that he was saying. And it was odd. It's bizarre. It's very bizarre. Now, if they keep all that stuff like they have in years past, in 10 years, they might be able to take that hair and get a definitive match from it. Right. So let's say Richard Allen is in prison. He loses the trial. He's found guilty. He's sentenced to life with fuck you. And in 10 years, they come back and they look at that. They say, we can now determine if what that hair was, blah, blah, blah. And maybe they could say, yes, this was Richard Allen's hair. Or maybe the hair does put him in that 98% of the population. But we could say it's not his hair because we don't know for sure. So I don't know. But Nick needs to address that. Maybe in opening arguments, maybe just an amendment to his opening argument. Yes, and the hair, which was not clutched in a hand, but was wrapped around a thumb or something, was blah, blah, blah's hair and blah, you know what I mean? So just so it's – because the jury did hear that. You're not just talking to YouTube anymore. The jury did hear that, so. Mevin, many are wearing colors tomorrow. Anyone know what they are? Are they – purple and blue? I think it's I do think it is purple and blue. Someone here will definitely be able to help you out with that. I'll scroll down. It could be, Frank will talk about this later, but Murder Sheet was removed from the media pool. I don't know. Apparently, Kevin took his shirt off, started swinging it around. No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. I know a lot of people don't like the Murder Sheet. I listen to them, but I was totally only kidding about that. That would have been fucking awesome if he did. But yeah, they were removed from jury pool. But Frank, I'm sure we'll have more on that tonight with Kristen. Luck of the draw. Well, I don't know if they're going to do order, or I think there's 17 seats. So it just might be like the first 17 without media credentials. Cornification, not to be confused with Californication. Yeah, cornification. Pretty cool. Yeah, I think people are going to go wait in line. So I think that you'll probably see people there early, like Frank and them used to do when they would go there super early. Did I leave that thing up here, Frank? 1 second, guys. Got some baseball games on tonight, some NFL, a little bit of college football. I like the Dodgers since my Pirates have sucked since Sid Bream scored from fucking second base on a single. $1,400 for 2 weeks. Now, I'm not saying that Indiana is not similar like Florida or Mexico where people go on vacation. I'm not saying that. But a lot of people probably don't go to Indiana for vacation unless they're visiting someone they know, right? No beaches, no stuff like that. But those 2 weeks last week probably would have cost you, like the previous 2 weeks, probably cost you like $700. And then I don't even know if Frank would be able to take his dog or not. But let's get those colors. Yeah, 63 wasn't aware too. I think it's purple and blue, but don't quote me. I just saw, man, where did I just see somebody? Someone just had things that they were making. Hold on 1 second. Because, man, where did I see that? I just saw that. It might have been on Facebook. Somebody made a bunch of them, and I don't know if they were going to pass them out tomorrow. Man, someone should be able to answer that, though, huh? That was their favorite colors. Well, if it was on Facebook, the Delphi groups on Facebook, usually you might get a few posts a day. There's been like 20 posts every hour. Yeah, if we're talking about the whole setup, the parking, they're chalking off the roads out there. Yeah, a lot of YouTubers won't be allowed in, or just general people, if people from the public, because there's so many media credentials. Now, if this was a case of somebody stole a car and they went to trial, it'd be a lot easier for people to get in. But this is a huge case. Frankie, the hair will be a nothing burger that have done familial genealogy. Yeah, I think that they're going to come back and say that hair is someone in Libby's family, but I don't have any inside scoop on that. Don't have any inside scoop. But the hair stuff's interesting. I never knew that that's how the hair, basically the easiest, the way it was explained to me was like the closest to where it starts or roots at, you have the most DNA, if that makes sense. And you could get it from anywhere too. So they didn't say it was a hair on a head, an arm hair. Who knows? Who really knows? Clever alt name. Good to see you. Let's see what else we got. So is there anyone else that just thinks that something's going to happen between today, 6:40 p.m. Eastern, and tomorrow before we start the court? I don't know. It will be surprising for me to see, but I guess we're right there. Okay, Charlotte coming through with some good info. It's located in the cytoplasm, mitochondria, or the site of the cell's energy productions and other metabolic functions. The other is located in the cell's nucleus. So more closest to the middle is more, I gotcha. Sort of. I'm certainly not as smart as you when it comes to that or most other things, Charlotte, but I hope we understand that a little bit. And again, we don't know what type of hair it is. Gibbo. Hey, Dave. What's happening, Dave? Good to see you. Frank will be bright up early tomorrow, possibly going live to get the trial. Yeah, well, that'd be nice to have someone that wants to do that. A place where there's probably going to be a lot of people like just hanging, off work tomorrow, to retired or whatever the case may be, on vacation. And they're going to want to know what's going on. The trial is going to be going on, but this is so unusual for us as a society in 2024. Something is happening live and we can't see it. We can't, directly know every, minute after minute. Like if you're watching we're looking for a football game and you can't get it on your TV, but on your phone, you could follow it, get refresh. Oh, first down, turnover or whatever. So this is against our nature right now of human beings on this earth. It's against our nature to not know exactly what's going on up to the minute. So that even spikes the interest more. And unfortunately tomorrow, and I hope it doesn't happen, but there could be very easily be false things that come out. Someone might come out and tell one person one thing, and by the time, hey, I'm going to call these creators who I'm friends with and say this, and it gets screwed up. And then you get like, what really happened at this trial? Because these people are saying this, these folks are saying this, and then there's another person over here that's saying something different. So you really got to go with who you trust. And like I told you, I trust Turbo, I trust Frank, Jinx, the crew that always goes. Aspen. I don't know if I guess Aspen's going to be there. And if anyone's looking for a quick something to eat, I definitely, and they're not paying me for advertisement, but the Blue Moose, I'm pretty sure it's called the Blue Moose, where they have like frozen things and stuff like that. But they're, I could just say that they're very, very nice people at the Blue Moose. A Bob Ross painting. Well, yeah, they want to go for that. Well, thank you, Charlotte. Like I always say, I always think I have the best chat. And no offense to any other chats or any other creators, but always good to see you too, Dave. There's shit brewing up again out in the near the Caribbean, if I'm not mistaken, right? It would be Caribbean. Dave does all kind of true crime stuff, and he does the weather, big storms and stuff too. Yeah, I mean, I think so too, SP. I think that he kind of has to get up there and say, Richard Allen woke up this day, he did this, boom, boom, boom. And as he goes along each step, and we're going to show you this, and that. We know that he was at the trails at this time because of this, and that. We know that he was because, and really have it gone through. But I'm sure that he has relied on some older attorneys or maybe mentors that he had and says, hey, listen, this is what I want to put on. She was on X as well as Clocks. Not sure what we're talking about there. Probably something. Susan Hendricks didn't get a press pass. What the fuck? Susan Hendricks is cool as shit. Wow. Oh, when I cough, it still hurts. Women are the ones manipulated by the defense, believed Ari was innocent because of prison treatment. Well, I don't know if yeah. I mean, there's certainly a group of women that think that he was mistreated, for sure. What do you guys think about the women jury, 8-4? Do you think that favors either or? I would think that it favors the prosecution. You're looking at two young girls, and even though that there's studies that say that women aren't any really necessarily more empathetic with all people, getting tried, all defendants, but it's interesting to me how that worked, and it was so fast. So I don't know if both sides got like 6 jurors. Hey, these are good, these aren't good, or whatever. But those things I find very interesting about anything. So even though I'm very interested in this case, I always step back and look at YouTubers. Why is he doing this? Why is he saying that? And I try to figure that out like a puzzle. Frankie Christian, we need to know how the tip was lost in the first place. It's cost the case, hard evidence, DNA, blood work, etc. Needs explaining. Yeah. Well, I don't know if Nick's going to want to bring that up here, but there has to be a judgment day after this case is over. Maybe we'll find out through the defense that they messed up, and they'll have to admit that they messed up there, or whatever the case may be. But there should be a day where it's, yeah, listen, here's where we were looking at first. We thought this, we thought that, we thought the Kleins, we thought this, we thought that, and then we went this way and we went that way. And they need to look at the people and say, listen, we fucked up. We think we got the right guy. He was tried, convicted, if Allen's adjudicated guilty, but the justice was delayed. And some people will say justice delayed isn't justice. But, at the end of the day, I don't know. But the tip thing's very interesting to me. I wonder if that's even true. If that's just some bullshit that they put out. Hair. They didn't think the hair was news. I didn't hear about a hair in a hand before. We're not sure, JJ. That's what we were talking about before. We're not sure. When they say a hair was found, you would think it means one hair, but we don't know. And they said it was also clutched in her hand. That's what makes me think it was from the sweatshirt, because if you'll see the hands clutch. A lot of times they'll clutch like the clothes, or if the sweatshirt's bigger. So I'm not sure. I don't know. But again, that should be something, since that's said in front of the jury, not just YouTube. Nick should come, even if it's a quick one, and just quip it. Hey, this is what happened. Which tweet? I might have. I've been on Twitter since about 4:00 today, though. So I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think an outright lie, if there isn't something there, but yeah, the bracelets are going around. Oh, good. Here's Frank Meister. Purple and teal. Purple and teal. Yes, that's the color. So I guess it's bluish, but teal, like Carolina Panthers. They're teal. I don't know if everyone knows what their uniforms, what that color is. So there you go. If anybody wants to wear it. And I can't remember. I swear it was a Delphi group, and I think I'm only a member of one still. I think I left all the other ones. I think I'm just in Sarah's now. I left them. I didn't get kicked out. So JJ, tomorrow morning they'll start. So today was a day off since they got the jury picked, maybe quicker than they thought. I think that was quick for picking that jury. One of the other things I was also surprised, they said who has heard of this case, or is I don't know exactly how it was worded, or who's researched this case. And they said about 60 or 70% of the people put their hands up. I would have thought it had been like 80 or 90. So maybe that's good. Maybe you got people that don't know. But tomorrow morning, opening arguments, I assume are going to happen. There could be a couple other things, housekeeping issues that the judge takes care of before. I don't know. And then, the documentation, if you watched Frank last night, he read that about making that offer for the third party, offer of proof to be able to get the subpoenas, Westfall, Tony Klein, Keegan Klein, Elvis Fields. We have about 10 or 12 minutes left. Let's finish the show talking about this, if you will. Or I should have said in my Dusty Rhodes voice, if you will. There you go, Bevan. Agree with you on both counts, Louise. I bet they will say a guard or someone in LE gave him details for the crime scene of his confessions. Well, he would have had his case file too, so he would have the everything that happened. But maybe if he made the confession before he got the case file, if that's what you're saying, Shane, I get you. Yeah. I could see them saying that totally. No, that's absolutely cool, Charles. I didn't know you were into that. Maybe there's other questions I can ask you then, floor things and stuff like that. We could talk a little bit acetate off-gassing. Possibly on Drew Yoder. I'm not laughing because acid, but we could, Charlotte, we could use your help on Flora, because there's a couple of things that we've run into where we try to find out, we don't even know. Yeah, well, more times than not, Louise, 99% of the time with the police mistakes, it's incompetence. 1% it's corruption. But don't Google McKeesport, PA, folks, because holy fuck did our cops fuck up. And you know what? The good cops, they're pissed. They're like, fuck those fucking guys, man. Fuck them, because it makes our job harder. So you got to root them out. There's bad apples in every profession, but bad apples in public service, police, fire, EMS, they're worse than a bad apple at a grocery store, because they could affect more people, they could affect more lives, and basically they could fuck more shit up, right? So we have to get them out of there. You won't hearing Rari's voice except on audio. Yeah, I agree with you, Frank. I think it would be crazy to do that unless you had some kind of sound thing. Like, we could prove you this is not his voice by Dr. Emmett Brown's gigawatt trometer or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't even know what they would use there. But I agree with you. I would not put him on a stand, and I would not let him talk. Could have been a star witness, but never stepped forward again. Yeah, I think that's telling too that he didn't come back after, because he made the confession at the Wallman's grocery store parking lot. Pretty sure it's called Wallman's. I saw it when I was there. The guys, Randy, actually, that's right where he was at. They were outside talking to Dan Doolin. So what did Richard Allen call Skinner, the retired game warden, conservation officer, whatever the hell he's called in Indiana, DNR? Every state's different. They're game wardens here, but and say, hey man, I was there. You know me. You know I ain't about this shit. I ain't gonna do this shit. What can I do? I don't want to go to the police station, or well, let's get informal. Hey, I'll have I know a young kid Doolin. I'll send him down, or you could talk to him. He had not seen the video yet. He had not seen the picture. Actually, the video didn't come out for much 2 years later, but he didn't see the video or the picture, the still picture of the video yet. So that's what he did. Let me ask you this: the last few minutes that we have here today, if they do make an offer of proof and the judge accepts it and says, yes, you're allowed to bring into court through subpoena, and they could testify and be cross-examined, Patrick Westphal, Elvis Fields, Keegan Klein, and Tony Klein. That's Jerry Klein in the paperwork. I mean, what a shit show that would be. That would be insane for people to cover this case. That would be insane. Chadwell, you imagine him testifying? What would they testify for? What would the defense have them there for? I don't know. Even with the third party stuff, you could, they don't have to testify. I don't think you're gonna have a third party candidate that's going to come up and testify when you're casting and blaming him and they're trying to get their client off. If you're that third party candidate, you're like, shit, they're going to come after me next, if this guy gets acquitted. So what do you think would happen if those guys took the stand? I mean, you can't really believe anything Keegan Klein says. We've never really heard from Tony Klein, kind of, you've heard quotes and things like that. People said he said. You've heard from Westphal before. You never heard from Elvis Fields before. Messer and whoever else, whoever else they want to bring into the fray, and they want a subpoena. And it looks like they're just trying to run like a circus show up there. They have all these witnesses and stuff like that, and that's fine. But like, if you have 10 witnesses, they're going to say the same thing. The judge could just say, boom, these other 9 experts are going to do this. I mean, is this maybe they wanted to use the whole 40 grand that they raised, and they wanted to say, we used all this in court. We wanted to show you all the right thing. And then here's the receipts for that. And here's the people that we brought in for that. And, if they do that, I have no qualms with them. That's what people thought they were donating to. They weren't getting to pick what expert. Here's $5. I want you to get a linguistics expert in here. No, it wasn't like that. So it's interesting. It is interesting. Could you imagine Keegan Klein, Tony Klein on the stand in a courtroom with McClellan, Baldwin, Rossi, Richard Allen staring back and forth at him? It would be almost like a movie. I don't think it's going to happen. But who knows what the judge will say? Who knows what other they showed you all their cards in a 3-day trial. That's why I think that this hair is not a big deal, because there's no way they wouldn't have brought that hair up before. I mean, they said this was an ode and a sacrifice, which some people believe. I think it's extremely far fetched. When you could have said, "Hey, we have a hair here. Focus on that hair. Whose hair was that? Did you ever test this against Ron Logan? Did you ever, that type of stuff?" But they're attorneys and I'm not. So maybe they know. Maybe they have a master plan. I just don't see it. I see that we know some of the state's evidence, and I think the state was going to have a couple more bombshells. I said that months ago. I think they have a couple bombshells loaded up. I have an idea of 5 or 6 things, but I don't know what they are. And if they come up with 1 or 2 of those 5 or 6 things, it's game over. If those witnesses are able to identify Richard Allen, 1-to-1 identification, you have 3 different sets of witnesses. If they get on the stand and said, yes, I saw Richard Allen, that was Richard Allen, if, it's over. The trial's over at that point. I don't think there's anything that you can do to get him off of that. I know people are going to say there's a lot of people in jail because of eyewitness testimony. You're correct. Absolutely correct. But what we would have here is 3 sets of independent witnesses, the girls, Betsy Blair, Sarah Carbaugh, and they see him at the right time to hammer in the timeline. So now we know that he told Doolin the truth the first time, but he lied the second time. Why would you lie the second time? Because there was a murder that happened and you wanted to get out of it and make an alibi. And again, we've never seen their alibi. But I think that there's, and again, we wouldn't know that. And if the defense has this evidence, but the defense is not going to come out and say, all those girls identified Richard Allen. They're not going to do that. Of course they're not. They're going to cherry pick the best stuff to leak out. And not even some of the stuff isn't even leaked out. It's just, it rolls out how it is. So are we going to get some of that during the opening argument? I think we should get at least a whiff of it. If he doesn't come out and say directly, hey, plus we have this, 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 and that. If he has all that. We're going to show you voice analysis. We're going to show you this. We're going to show you that. I don't know if he'll put everything out there on the table, but why not? I would. Plus, you get to go first, right? So Baldwin's going to rebut what you said. Hey, he said this, this, and that, blah, blah, blah. But to me, of all the, there's 2 points in this trial where I wish I could be there. It's opening arguments, and it's when the jury, Coach Kevburgers, they're good, but they talk back. Where the jury comes in and reads the verdict. Those are the two in this case, because we don't know a whole lot. This isn't like the OJ case. You know, when I was young and kind of falling out because my mom was into it. We knew a lot. We knew a whole lot. We don't know a lot about this. Now, if he gets up there, if Nick McClellan gets up there and puts on his case, and so far the only things that he presents is what we known already, it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip then, because Baldwin and Rossi are skilled attorneys. They might feel one way or another about him, but they're attorneys. So I'm sure that they're just like, fuck it. This is what we got to do. They're not Kleinfeld from Carlito's Way or anything like that. But if he doesn't produce more, if the state doesn't have more than what we know, it's a crapshoot. But I feel that there's other things. I don't know for a fact. I have guesses about them. And again, well, they are his guesses. So, but in my opinion, if those 3 independent witnesses, they'll triangulate him, that puts 2 things together, the timeline and him. And if they're able to say, yes, that was him, and they showed him in a picture, or later, hey, you know, Richard that worked at CVS. Oh my God. You know what I mean? I never thought of that, or however they would do it. Now, of course, the defense will come up and try to, you know, impeach that and say, oh, you were in your phone. You're a young girl. How did you know? Blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, different things like that. So I believe it is, Gibbo. I think it's the beginning of justice. I think they got the right guy, but we shall see. Do not resuscitate. We have those here too. Yeah, the FBI has that power. That's something else that we might never know, but I wish we would. I wish someday Doug Carter would sit down. What happened with you and the FBI? Maybe not him personally, but why did they get out of there? Why did they go that route? Why did they write that Ron Logan warrant? Yeah, I couldn't trust a whole lot that Keegan Klein said, but man, would it be something if they were all in a courtroom together? Keegan Klein, Jerry Klein, fucking Westfall, Fields. I mean, where would they put them all before the hearing? Would they just sit outside because they have to wait outside? Then they could stay if they like. You're correct. Todd's click said no one in LE thought it was a sacrifice. He did feel, however, that the other guys were involved, but he said no one in LE thought it was a sacrifice, which is true. No police officers did. And then the Ferenczi thing, they said the Inquisitor did a good video today. He talked a little bit about Ferenczi. I have that indictment. I could post that and send that Shane Meehan indictment. They say Ferenczi was killed because he was covering it up. That's absolutely ludicrous. It's an outlandish, boorish, ludicrous statement to make. The guy was a jail guard. He had many mental illnesses. And you know what? When you kill a cop or you kill an innocent person or anybody because you're mentally ill, mental illness is not an excuse. So if you're that crazy, then you can fucking never come out again. Through the Molotov cocktail, Ferenczi was the first guy to run out of that building, gun in hand. So you fucking with me, you're attacking my building, and he was waiting for him. It was an ambush. And that's when Ferenczi's buddy dropped him, Meehan. And then he was off for quite a while, but I didn't do nothing. Allen's own statements, recorded and otherwise, will sink in. Yeah, I would have to think, too, that Nick can't make Richard Allen talk or take the stand, but he's going to try to play his voice as much as he can. So maybe they can go back and forth. But that's what I think, though. You know, that's what I think. Anxious. Yeah, that's another feeling. And so Scott, I don't think Kelsey has any explaining to do, really. At that age, my kids, I let them go out, 13, 14 years old. I live in an inner city, and it's bad. But I don't think that she does at all. But a lot of people are invested, heavily invested in this case, emotionally invested in this case. And yeah, Ferenczi was. And the other sad thing, we never got to hear what he had to say about this because it just click, and then, the other guy was kind of like, Murphy was kind of like, ah. That was not Shane. Scott Kelsey. Yeah. I'm not sure what he means. I don't think he's necessarily attacking her. But again, we know, we could say this for a fact, right? We know that the family had nothing to do with this, right? Either the family had nothing to do with this or the defense is in on a conspiracy. It can't be both ways. It can't be both ways. So they've said this was an ode and a sacrifice, which is kind of out the window, kind of crazy, but okay. When they could have easily pointed at the family and said it was the family. But they know the family's not involved. And if people to still blame the family, but again, I told you where that comes from. That is projection. They're telling you how their family life was by blaming the families of Libby and Abby. And say a prayer for them and move on. That's all you can do. Yeah, Shane Meehan was his name. Absolutely mentally ill. Prison guard. Absolutely mentally ill. But it's not yeah, I don't think so either. But yeah, it wasn't Shane. What's up, BB? I don't know that she is a witness, Scott. I mean, I'm sure she'll be called. I assume she'd probably be called by someone, probably the state. Hey, I took the girls out here. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. But I don't think, as far as importance goes, I told you guys this before, I think Betsy Blair is maybe the most important witness here. And let's see how that plays out. I really, really believe that more so than the girls and Sarah Clairbaugh is Betsy Blair. Yeah, Ferenczi was very well accomplished and a badass cop. No question. Hey, Ruckus popped in somewhere. I didn't see you. But we're a little bit over an hour. I really appreciate you spending your beginning of this kind of like the night before trial Delphi edition with me. And I'm sure there's a lot of other creators you're going to check out and watch tonight. Support whoever you like, share, subscribe, like his video, share it if you like it. If anyone watches this on replay and has any questions or comments, say, hey, I like what you said, or I think you're full of shit. Just keep it real with me, and we can hack it out there. And I guess once I hear the first updates tomorrow, once they come out of break, then I'll finally admit to myself, wow, trial's really happening, because I just think that there's something that's just, I don't know. It's Delphi. So I expect anything except for shit to go smoothly. Hopefully there's no issues with YouTubers. Everyone just keep your distance. You don't like this one or that one. And again, why don't you like each other? Because of an opinion on a case? Let it slide. Let it move. Show a little bit of flex. And hopefully nothing bad happens. But, the cops, they're going to be down there like the National Guard tomorrow. You've seen how they have everything set up, barricaded off. So they're not fucking around with anybody. So please, if you're going up there looking for trouble, you're going to find it. But it's going to be law enforcement. It's the trouble that you find, and you're not going to want that. Please. So let this play out. Give the families their respect. It's very hard for the attorneys. It's very hard for the police to work it. The police to work in the detail, the police to work the case, the court personnel, everybody in that town is feeling this. And again, I hope I said it right. The Blue Moose, stop in and tell them Coach Kev sent you, and you will get nothing off or nothing cheaper. And I will also get nothing out of it, but they're good people there. So I'm going to leave you guys to it. Yes, justice for Libby and Abby, purple and teal. I'll be doing something for Frank. If you have it in you and you could get his thing, maybe on his page. You can find it because I don't have it. And I appreciate everyone that goes and covers this trial. I truly do, guys, because it sucks that it can't be on TV, but I kind of understand where it comes from, but it will be recorded and will be transcribed. So they can use it for appeals, or you could buy it after, and God, it probably costs $10,000. By the time this is over, everyone on YouTube will have to put $1 in and we'll still be short. But I'm going to leave it to you. I'm going to say tentacles. We have trial tomorrow. If you were in the live and forgot, post something later. If you catch this on replay and you got something, please post something later. And yeah, Carrie, that's a good way to put it. I'm gonna leave that up here, Charlotte. Carrie and Anna, yeah, the two moms. You know, I mean, this hits everybody. It's to the core. But moms, that's different, right? That's different. They carry these girls, so it's just different. But all right, everybody, thank you so much. If you got anything going on Florida, Kevlar148hotmail.com. Someone sent me a really cool video about profiling. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their name is, but I never share email addresses or anything like that. So if you want to send me something anonymously, feel absolutely free, or call it into the Indiana State Police if you have anything on Florida. Delphi starts tomorrow. What will happen, right? It's the final countdown, folks. So let's see what happens. And I'll probably talk to some of you guys tomorrow night somewhere, though. All right? Coach Kev, out. Happy Thursday, too, if I didn't say it before.